Hello, everyone, and welcome to another exciting episode of the Ultimate Comics Podcast. My name is Nabeel Gaber, and I'm one of your hosts.
And I'm Josh, the other host.
And this is normally the podcast where we talk about Ultimate Marvel, an imprint of Marvel that began in the year 2000 in an attempt to modernize and reimagine Marvel and its heroes for the 21st century. So we talk about Ultimate Spider-Man, Ultimate X-Men, the Ultimates, all that jazz. But this week we have a very important episode where we wanted to stop and review the new Disney Plus series Marvel Zombies because honestly, it is pretty relevant to a lot of the stuff we talk, since we did honestly recently talk about the original comic Marvel Zombies, which does spin out of Ultimate Fantastic Four. So we thought, well, this is a good chance to compare to the original comic and just talk about what we like, what we might not like so much generally, and just like have a good chat about it because we both watched it and I think we both enjoyed it, but we both definitely have a lot of thoughts that we want to give as longtime fans.
We are not reviewing, I believe, the episode "What If Zombies?" question mark, which I think is the title of that "What If" episode. Is like zombies question mark. What if dot dot dot. But I was not the biggest fan of that episode, but I really did like the show. I thought the "What If Zombies" episode was really silly. In a way, this wasn't. This was also pretty silly, but I thought the zombies episode was just way over the top with the silliness, like with the Bendis and Disney talk. Like Hope kills Sharon because Sharon gets turned into a zombie, and her response is, "Ew, I'm covered with Sharon, and I'm covered in Sharon," and I'm like, "You just killed your friend, and that's your response, you dick."
Yeah, I mean, that is a little too goofy and jokey. This isn't too different. The Marvel Zombies series, I feel like, from What If, they're both animated shows that take place in alternate realities, and this spins directly out of What If, but I feel like both of them do have the general problem where it's pretty dark and pretty high stakes, but there's a lot of quippy, jokey MCU dialogue, which isn't always something that fits in to the scenario. But I enjoyed the series. It was fun. I feel like What If, it doesn't feel like something that is really necessary for a lot of people to watch. It doesn't feel like this is the greatest thing to come out of the MCU. It's fun and like easily skippable just because they take place in alternate universes and they're animated projects that don't really matter for the overall MCU. But it was a good time, and it was cool seeing them kind of create this Walking Dead style spin-off of What If. And I think it's funny how Marvel Zombies spins out of What If just the same way that Marvel Zombies originally spun out of Ultimate Fantastic Four. They're both kind of like what if scenarios that then took on its own series, and now they're saying there's going to be a season 2 for Marvel Zombies, just like there have been multiple series for Marvel Zombies in the comics. So it's a pretty cool parallel.
Yeah. And Walking Dead and Marvel Zombies was both written by the same guy.
Yeah, Robert Kirkman.
Yeah, and this was written by Zeb Wells, who wrote Paul.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
And he's also written many other projects and comics, and I'm not going to judge him entirely based on his amazing Spider-Man work. I loved the Hellions comic. I loved Zeb Wells' run on New Mutants. He's got some good stuff out there, and I did enjoy this series. For all its faults, regardless, though, we'll get into what we enjoyed and what we might not have enjoyed so much. But overall, it was a pretty fun time.
Oh yeah, I had a blast. Though I've came with a very different interpretation of the show than you, I realized.
Yes, and we will get into that for sure. But yeah, it's really fun the way that they kind of format these episodes, because there's only 4 episodes in this season, and I thought it was very short. And I guess that was part of my problem with it generally, was like, wow, like it's kind of like rushed at the end. But it's cool how they format the episodes where we start off in the first episode meeting the young Avengers, you should say, because like Ms. Marvel, Kamala Khan is a big character.
Yeah, I think she's the main character.
Yeah, no, totally. Kamala is a huge she's like the central character, I feel like, of this show. I think Ms. Marvel does play a good protagonist for this series. She has a lot of youthful innocence to her, and I think she is that spark of hope that keeps things going the whole time. And who doesn't love Kamala Khan?
I love Kamala Khan. I love her comics. I also find it funny that like her name was supposed to be like this obscure name, and then like it's now a very famous name. And also she's like based completely by coincidence, but also like I think she's in a good gray zone where she's famous enough to bring people in, but she's
Hmm.
not as famous enough so like you could do things with her character for fun stories. And also this was like the actress, I can't remember her name. The actress for Kamala Khan is the actress for Miss Marvel in the Marvels and the Miss Marvel show, and she is a big fan of the character. I think you told me she actually wrote a Kamala Khan comic
Yeah,
herself.
Iman
Yeah.
Vellani.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, she's notoriously a huge comic fan. She talks about all her favorite runs and comics, and she was very excited to be cast as Ms. Marvel. So much like the Ms. Marvel character, Iman Vellani is actually a huge nerd and comic book fan herself, which is awesome.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think Ms. Marvel's like a great character to kind of lead this show, especially since it feels like this show brings together a lot of the Phase 4, Phase 5 MCU characters. And I think it's cool seeing like the next generation and like the younger cast members and younger characters taking the lead as kind
Yeah.
of the future of the MCU. So I hope we see a lot more of that going forward in like live action properties. I think they can learn a lot from what I've seen in What If and in Marvel Zombies, where generally you see a lot more cohesion of the line and seeing characters come together a bit more. I was just talking about this before we recorded, but I feel like in Marvel Zombies, we definitely see more of the Phase 4, Phase 5 MCU characters coming together in a way that we haven't in live action movies, other than probably Thunderbolts, which I love.
Yeah. Oh, we both loved. I think we reviewed it, but I
Oh,
think
we did? No,
you
I'm
did
just
review
kidding.
that. No, because sometimes I know there's podcasts where they go do so many episodes at once that the hosts forget what they did. But I think what people really liked about MCU is the way the characters interact with each other at a certain point, more than the action scenes itself, more
Yeah.
than the story, which I think people rightfully or wrongfully criticize the Marvel formula. But people do love the way characters just organically have a connection to each other and how they talk. And that's why there's so much fanfic of every character at this point.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
And I'm hoping we'll actually see it come to life on the screen soon. I
Mhm.
mean, with Doomsday and Secret Wars approaching sooner
Yeah.
than we all might think, it'll be cool to see in live action a lot of these new characters interact. What was cool
Yeah.
about this first episode, especially, is that we have the Young Avengers, basically. We have Kamala Khan, and we have Ironheart, Riri Williams, and we have Kate Bishop as Hawkeye. And it's
Haley
cool to,
Steinfeld.
yeah, it's big stars. It's cool to see them all like interacting as kind of like a friend group and like a team unit navigating this post-apocalyptic world of Marvel Zombies. And it seems like the first couple episodes, anyways, they focus on different factions and different groups of people surviving this landscape of the MCU, like when it's taken over by zombies. I love that. I love seeing the three heroes, these young Avengers or champions, even. They could be either one of them, just interacting and, being a group. And I'm like, this is what I want to see. You're
Yeah.
doing this before the actual live action MCU projects are doing it. This
It
is like in the What If episode where it was like, what if they all became a giant mech suit? That they had a new Avengers team already, and they had, Sam Wilson as Captain America, and they had Moon Knight, and they had Monica Rambeau, and they had Shang-Chi, and all these guys. And I was like, yes, this is what we wanted. This, like, bring them all together, finally.
yeah. I feel like the chemistry between these three actresses, just from the voice work, it was really good. They're in post-apocalyptic New York City. They're just talking about life while
Yeah, exactly.
navigating a post-apocalyptic hellhole. They're being hunted by zombie Hawkeye of all people,
Yeah.
which
Like
is
Kate Bishop's hero,
yeah.
unfortunately, Clint Barton hunts them.
Yeah, it's also the joke of like, I mean, I don't think Hawkeye in the MCU or the comics suck, but like he's just so deadly as a character in zombies because he's like literally a hunter just stalking them.
Yeah. No, yeah, his skill sets are put to good use as an evil like zombie hunting them down.
Yeah, because I think most of the zombies are like regular zombies. They lose their intelligence, but it seems some of the heroes they keep their abilities, their powers, and sometimes their intelligence. Yeah. Oh, I was just gonna say they make jokes about the fact that Hawkeye is hunting Hawkeye. So
Yeah. But yeah, unfortunately, spoilers. We didn't even say spoilers yet. Just late in the game, just to say spoilers. But yeah, I found it pretty sad when they end up killing off like Kate and Ironheart. So I was like, damn, that was fast. Because I was
yeah,
honestly like, in the first episode, I didn't know what to expect. I thought honestly they were gonna follow like the three of them as like the young Avengers
yeah,
navigating this world a little bit more, but it was shocking because they get caught between zombie Captain Marvel fighting like
zombie Storm,
zombie.
right?
I thought that was Zombie Icarus of like the
Oh,
Eternals.
oh, maybe that makes more sense. Yeah, but I honestly thought we are gonna have like a Sex in the City thing where like three young women navigate New York City, but it's a post-apocalyptic hellhole full of zombies and evil Hawkeye just stalking them. But
Yeah.
instead, oh, they also have Friday, which is we completely forgot. Friday, Carrie Condon's Friday is also with them, but she
Yep,
dies too.
that's right.
She dies.
Yeah.
I don't like how the robots just die in zombies. Like Vision dies for no reason in the episode. Friday dies for no reason, really.
Yeah.
Yeah, but Kamala Khan, she barely survives. She meets Blade, who has become the new host of Khonshu. So he's the new Moon
Yeah.
Knight.
And I love Blade in this show. I
Yeah.
can't believe this is the first time we're actually, other than Deadpool and Wolverine, which brought back Wesley Snipes as Blade. Other than that, this is a big intro to Blade in the MCU, and I thought he was awesome. I thought it was
Oh
such a
yeah.
cool concept bringing him in as the new Moon Knight, the new like avatar of Khonshu.
Yeah.
I love that combination. I love that mashup, and oh, he was so cool.
Yeah, especially after Marvel were like saying for hinting for we're never doing Blade. It's never gonna be Wesley Snipes. Other, it's only gonna be Wesley Snipes or nothing. And they just did this. Also, they did the before they died. They did find a Quinjet with a shield, with a zombie shield agent, and inside him was a machine that they just kind of took out and keep with them.
Yep.
Yeah.
No, that's true.
But Khonshu or slash Moon Knight slash Blade reveals that like this is a machine that might be able to help all of humanity if they can attach it to a shield circuit board or something like a shield computer system.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Which takes them to meet this whole camp led by the Black Widow's family, pretty
yeah,
much. So they meet like, they meet Black Widow's mom, they meet Red Guardian, and they meet Yelena.
yeah,
And so once again, bringing a bunch of Phase 4 and 5 characters together,
yeah.
it's
And
pretty
this
fun.
compound is guarded by black, like the widows, the different widows guard it,
Hmm.
and they use the mind control device that they use on pigs to keep the zombies away, which is really cool.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no, definitely. And it
yeah.
was cool because the whole premise is basically once they connect to the Shield mainframe, the whole idea is that this thing is a beacon, this device that they found to like contact the Nova Corps, and it can reach out to the Nova Corps and like save them from the zombies. So
It's
like the whole premise is really like them trying to send out a signal to the Nova Corps
yeah.
and get help from outer space.
It's really funny because like they're like these humans who just have this messianic interpretation of what the Nova Corps is because they don't know what it is, and they're
Yeah.
like they're gonna save us. They're like the angels or whatever. They're gonna come down and liberate Earth from the zombies.
I mean, that's
But
like, yeah, if they can find a cure, they're really just space cops.
yeah, but they don't know that.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. But it's revealed that a scion of the Zombie Queen is one of the Black Panther guards is leading an army of zombies to Kamala Khan. So Kamala Khan thinks the zombies are after the machine. The scion is like the queen of the dead, the mutant queen's lieutenant, and she specifically is a little bit more intelligent than the other zombies. And they think it's for the machine, but it's not for the machine. We find out in the next episode. But the
Yeah.
zombies invade. Zombie Captain America does get killed by Red Guardian.
That's really fun. I
Yeah,
like
kind of.
seeing Red Guardian finally get his fight with Captain America like he's been talking about since the Black Widow movie. It was actually cool to see a little bit of payoff for that, him fighting
Finally.
like half of zombie Captain America because it was just his upper body.
And then Zombie Captain America was winning, but he gets him into a grapple, and Red Guardian just steps on him or like rolls over him and crushes him.
Yeah.
Which
Like
is
I like how this series is brutal because it is a zombie show. So
yeah,
there's no shortage of blood and gore and just disturbing ways to die.
yeah. But the zombies, they do overrun the compound. They eat all the Black Widows,
Hmm.
and Yelena, Red Guardian, Moon Knight slash Blade, and Kamala barely escape, while Black Widow's mom stays behind to fight them off using the mind
Yeah.
control. And it's interesting, they're actually more of a cohesive family than they are in the Black Panther movie, because Yelena literally screams mama as like she realizes they're ditching the mom.
Oh, you mean Black Widow movie?
Yeah.
You said
Wait, what
Black
is
Panther.
oh
Don't,
oops,
don't
Black
worry
Widow.
about it. I was like,
I,
of course they're more of a family than in the Black Panther movie. They weren't even
I,
in that movie.
I was saying Scarlet for a while because I was really like, no, that's not Black Widow, that's Scarlett Johansson, the actress.
Yeah. Not to
Yeah.
confuse her with the Scarlet Witch.
Yeah, who also makes an appearance in this show. Also,
Yeah.
there's like a weird continuity thing because Scarlet Witch plays a big role in this. But I thought in What If, in the last episode of the first season, all the zombies died when they summoned all of them to fight Ultron.
Yeah, well, I guess we're just forgetting all that.
Yeah,
But what's cool is that this first episode I like because we get first a glimpse at these young Avengers, and then we kind of get an idea of where the plot is going with like Kamala teaming up with cool Moon Knight Blade and Black Widow's family to send out a signal. So there is hope for this world
yeah,
throughout the show for most of it, really. You're like, okay, they could send out a signal to the Nova Corps and they can get some help and they can maybe stop this whole zombie invasion. So it
yeah,
doesn't feel that's what I really like. It's fun, it's gory, but it doesn't feel entirely hopeless. I think that's a lot of I'm not usually a fan of zombie shows and movies because for the most part it always just feels like it's hopeless and there's no way out.
yeah.
So it's nice to see there's some light at the end of the tunnel, possibly.
I also like takes on zombie apocalypse where like it's not in a regular setting with people running around because I think we all know how it ends or there's different ways it goes and
Hmm.
adding little twists to it like this is an alternate world, this is set in a historical setting, this is set in a world where there's like mech suits and superpowers makes things a
Yeah.
little bit more interesting and like it ends with them like you said though they have this hope there's like this thing they can cling on to and the next episode starts in the beginning of the zombie apocalypse in San Francisco, which is nice to always
Yeah.
see the West Coast represented for one of the few times
Yeah.
in media. None of this,
Finally, Josh is vindicated.
I know. And there's
Give us the West Coast, you cowards.
the West Coast Avengers.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, but it's the zombie apocalypse in San Francisco goes really wrong because that's where the Pym labs are, and Pym labs basically explodes or something. And Pym particles go everywhere, so different zombies and humans are just shrinking and growing big.
Yeah, I think that's very creative, like to take advantage of that in the midst of like the zombie apocalypse. Like, yeah, we're also in the Marvel universe, so things are gonna go freaky and sideways in a ways that normal, quote unquote, normal zombie invasions wouldn't. You're gonna have people growing up into gigantic zombies and just crushing everything in their path, and like it's chaotic. The opening to episode 2.
If this happens in the Peacemaker or Superman universe for the new DC, James Gunn's DC, I guess they would rip a hole in the city because the zombies would get into the portal stuff.
Yeah,
It actually
no,
reminds
that's
me,
true.
isn't doesn't like a similar ish version exist in our world in Switzerland? Like there's one city has like an experimental I don't know exactly what it is. So if we have a zombie apocalypse, we might just get the same thing for a brief while.
That's possible.
Yeah.
That's scary.
Hey, they'll kill all the zombies, let's be fair. And the rest of us.
But once again, it's cool that they fold in like newer characters like Shang-Chi and his good friend Katie.
Aquafina.
Aquafina herself makes it through this zombie apocalypse.
I just hear the voice and I'm like, that's just Aquafina.
Yeah, literally, that's just it. Aquafina's just there for the ride, and she made it through the zombie apocalypse.
Yes. But Shang-Chi is fighting off zombies. Aquafina's parents, family all die.
Yeah, and then Shang-Chi's father, the Mandarin himself, comes in to save the day and
With
like
like
sacrifices himself.
because Shang-Chi gets bitten and he goes like stupid boy and he throws all the rings at Shang-Chi which preserves him from turning into a zombie.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and then he gets eaten by zombies immediately.
Also, he brings like the entire Ten Rings terrorist organization with him, and most of them die too. Actually,
Yeah, it does not look good.
it's funny. Like, there's all these stuff with Shield being this unstoppable agency in Marvel. There's the Ten Rings. Hive. No one can get rid of them, and it seems the zombies are like kind of doing what every other group fails to do, which is wipe each other out.
Yeah, that's true. But what's really cool too is you see the survivors, like so many people die, but there's like a few that make it out, and the ones that make it out, it's a really fun ragtag group of you have like Shang-Chi and Katie, but you also have Agent Jimmy Woo, famously played by Randall Park, and you
Yeah.
have Death Dealer from the Ten Rings.
Yes, the FBI and the Ten Ring guys are friends now because
Yeah,
there's
they
no
become like buddies.
there's
It's
no other
really
choice.
funny. Yeah, like a buddy cop thing where like opposites attract. But it's I love that sequence where he cuts to them years later and they're like Mad Max drivers and
Yeah.
they're all like in their caravan and they're playing like Lights by Journey. And it's a very fun sequence. I'm like, "Oh, this is really cool." They're like making the most of it in a zombie apocalypse. They're just trying to get by.
You don't have a choice, and also Shang-Chi teaches Aquafina how to fight
Yeah.
and use some of the Ten Rings.
She can use the 10 rings now too.
And also they have like a few other survivors. They have a few other like guys with guns just hanging out with them, and they're fighting off zombies and scrolls. Interestingly enough.
Yeah, there's like gangs and factions just like Mad Max. I like how it takes like little pieces of influence from like different properties. There's obviously like Walking Dead and Marvel Zombies, and then it's like, oh yeah, we're also going to add in some Mad Max there.
Yeah. I really
And
dislike this. Like, scrolls are taking advantage of our planet when we're at our weakest after we let them in out
oh
of
my
the
gosh.
kindness of our hearts.
I do you hate aliens, Josh?
I kind of do. Like, I don't hate people. I love immigrants and refugees. But, at least they belong here on this planet.
And what about Superman?
I gave you my thoughts on Superman. If I lived in Metropolis and I didn't know this guy was from Kansas or somewhere on Earth, and he just showed up and just like a god took over my city, I'd be a little scared.
Yeah.
Like, you'd be scared too if like Superman just shows up in your city and just runs the place now.
He's like wearing red, white, and blue, and he's like saving the day all the time, and he's nice and friendly and says hi to people and saves babies and puppies and
That's
squirrels.
that's true. But like, I just be weirded out. I'm like, who is this guy to tell me what to do? I didn't vote for him.
Hashtag not my superhero.
um, but they're trying to get on like after they actually kill a bunch of scrolls. Actually, also Jimmy Woo has a gun that just never runs out of bullets after
Yeah,
years.
unlimited ammo. That's the way to do it.
It's like those guns you fight in like those video games where like if you kill like a cop when you're not supposed to in a video game, you pick up his gun and you just realize it just doesn't run out of ammo.
Yeah, exactly.
I think he's a shield agent in Ultimate Marvel. No, Jimmy Woo.
Yes. If
Yeah,
not, he's like some kind of secret agent, probably a shield agent,
yeah,
and he's like runs like the Agents of Atlas, who are all
yeah.
these like supernatural and like freakish like creatures like a gorilla and Aphrodite and all these people. Anyways, or the goddess Venus. So
That's basically Aphrodite, right?
yeah, essentially. But it's cool. You see like them stumble upon Zemo has like a stronghold, like a commune
Yeah.
of survivors
And his number
of
two
all the
is Jimmy
people.
Walker.
John Walker.
Oh, it's John Walker. Oh, never mind.
Jimmy Walker.
It's
That would be
U.S.
really
Agent.
funny. I can see him as a Jimmy.
kind of. I mean, I thought he was a Jimmy. The thing I don't get with Walker, so the universe. This is like a different universe. Some events have happened, like when we at the end of What If, like we learned some stuff has happened, like Ant-Man and the Wasp happened, but like we don't know what else happened. Like I'm like, does Walker have the super soldier formula in this universe, or is he just some soldier who got shoved into a costume by Zemo?
That's a good point. I feel like since a lot of this feels like it takes place right around or before Infinity War, then I would say that he hasn't been made the new Captain America at that point. So he's just John Walker, a
In a
soldier.
costume.
Yeah.
And his
Yeah, that's a good point.
as Zemo, the thing with Zemo in the MCU is that I don't know if he's a good guy, but he's not a bad guy either. Like he is trying to do the right thing in his own effed up way. Zemo
Yeah,
in MCU is more likable.
he's not a Nazi like
Yeah,
in
okay,
616. Yeah, like in the
yeah,
comics.
yeah.
Comic book Baron Zemo is a straight up Nazi. This guy is different. He's still not great, but
He's trying to save humanity in his own way. He's trying to get humans onto this giant commune boat, which I think is the super villain prison, actually, isn't it?
yeah.
And he's trying to get them to Asgard. And
No,
also,
they're literally on the raft, like the supervillain prison. It's like the same design as the raft from Captain America Civil War.
yeah.
So Zemo has literally taken over this prison and turned it into a boat, like a submarine.
Yeah, and people just love him. They call him your Baroness because he's like the protector of humanity in this universe.
It's very interesting to see him like take a position of power and actually like be a leader among men.
Yeah, great guy. But uh,
Yeah, great guy, Baron Zemo. I love him. I love him when he especially murders the king of Wakanda and blames the Winter Soldier for it.
I forgot about that.
Yeah,
I
and
think,
like kills a bunch of people too.
but in this one, the Aquafina crew meets the Kamala Khan crew, and they get into a short fight
Yeah.
because they see that he has a zombie arm, Shang-Chi. But the fight is broken up by Zemo, who points out it's always nice to have more heroes, but I hate heroes.
Yeah. And Zemo actually, when he takes them aboard the ship, they all kind of like get to banter and get along and go to the mess hall.
Yeah.
But Zemo literally sets them up because he actually wants, it's revealed he wants to sacrifice some of the heroes when they join his ship to like the zombies so he can save the rest of them. He puts them in cells because it's literally the raft. What did you expect? The cells can lock. It's designed as a prison.
Look,
And he like tries to jettison out of them into the water so he can shoot them into the ocean so that zombie Namor and his Atlanteans can have them.
disgusting fish people. Or
Yeah.
yeah,
Bringing it
but
back to the fish people,
I hate
Josh.
the fish people. I find
They're
them
even worse when they're zombies.
Yes, and I find the concept of them disgusting. But also, like, we also get the scene where Yelena hits on Shang-Chi. Because, like, I think one thing that's interesting in the movie, Shang-Chi, is, like, Aquafina and Shang-Chi just are friends. They're, like,
Yeah.
platonic friends. And Yelena says good, and she horn dogs over Shang-Chi for a bit, which makes everyone uncomfortable.
It only makes you uncomfortable.
No, like, Shang-Chi stops eating, and his eyes get all big.
Well, yeah, because he's like, oh, and then he's like, hey. It's really interesting to be like, huh, imagine if and when they meet in live action, if that same spark is going to be there between the characters of Shang-Chi and Yelena Belova.
I'm surprised because I feel like Yelena is the least horn doggy of all the characters in Marvel so far, in the MCU, but
I
not
mean,
anymore.
listen, everyone's like, she's not asexual as far as we know.
Yeah, but like everyone else in that Black Widow movie was like, that's the horniest Marvel movie we've had so far.
In the
And
Black Widow movie?
yeah, at the movies, it's the horniest.
Why?
Everyone hits on everyone. It's revealed that the Rachel Weisz's Black Widow is into like Red Guardian. Red Guardian's into him. He shows up in his costume. She starts like wooing at him. They flirt all the time.
That is not the horniest MCU movie.
What is the horniest MCU movie?
I don't know, they're all pretty tame.
Well, the first one had like Iron Man 1 had a sex scene, which everyone just forgot about.
That's true, yeah. But that
Yeah.
was before the Disney buyout.
Really?
I think they got
Oh, that makes
cleaned up.
sense.
They cleaned up their act after Disney acquired Marvel.
Oh, but Kamala Khan ruins things when after she shoots because she covers everyone with one of her crystal ball constructs and she smashes them back into the submarine.
Yes.
Yeah.
And they fight the invasion of zombie Namor and the rest of the zombies.
Fish people.
So, yes, disgusting zombie fish people.
Yeah.
As Josh says.
Yeah, and they eat most of the raft, so for all his faults, in this case, Zemo had a point. By sacrificing a few of those people, the rest of the people would have lived. But, now everyone's going to die because zombie fish people.
Well, I don't think he has a point because now, like, they're all fucked.
Yeah.
They're all fucked. And actually, Kamala, she gives, like, a brutal death to zombie Namor. I guess he's already undead. He wasn't alive anyways, but she literally pops his head. There's no shortage of brutal deaths on this show.
We also find out that Khonshu reveals that the zombies are not after the machine that she has. They're after her specifically. Or Wanda is off after her, the Queen of the Dead.
And we don't really know why. I feel like that's left unclear throughout the series.
Yeah.
It feels like the same thing with, since Wanda is like the zombie queen here, she's a villain just like in Multiverse of Madness where she went after America Chavez.
No.
And that made sense because America Chavez had multiversal powers and, she was just, Wanda was trying to get to like another version of her kids in the multiverse. So who knows?
I think it's because in the show, Miss Marvel, Kamala Khan does have a connection to another dimension, is the idea.
Yeah.
So she's trying to use that. Yeah.
But Yelena has to sacrifice herself to
yeah.
allow everyone to escape.
I did not expect that. And I also don't think it's necessary because she sacrifices herself, drinks says it's a good death, and drinks wine as everyone dies. And that upsets Red Guardian, but I feel like Red Guardian would have switched spots with her if that was possible because, he's older and he's the dad.
I mean, he would have if he could have.
I think he should have let Red Guardian die.
Really?
Yeah, like, he lived a full life. He's not going to do anything else with it.
Yeah, but isn't it more tragic then that Yelena's the one to die because she's young and full of life?
It is more tragic, which is why I think, like, they should have figured out a way to let Red Guardian die. He's a washed-up guy. That gives him a good death, which is what he always wanted.
Yeah, that's true.
And Yelena has plans for life. She wants a horn dog over Shang-Chi.
Yeah, and would you approve of that?
I think it's a reason to live, even if I don't approve of it.
Uh-huh. I see. He is ceding my point.
Just a bit, just a wee bit.
But I think That's part of the tragedy of the whole thing. There are some heartbreaking deaths for sure in this one.
Yeah,
Although the impact isn't really there as much because this is another universe and it doesn't really have that much of an effect to begin
yeah.
with, but that's neither here nor there.
I would not drink wine before I die. Actually, probably water. Like, because wine. What if your death is slow and like it's just stuck in your throat and your mouth as you're dying, and it just makes it slightly more uncomfortable.
You don't like wine then?
I'm okay with wine. I just don't want it stuck in my throat if I'm dying for 3 hours and it's taking me that long, and I'm like, now my throat's uncomfortable and it's burning and it's sticky.
Yeah, you could use some water to cool that down.
Exactly. Water. Okay, I'll drink wine if I know I'm gonna die really quickly. But if I'm not, like, no.
If you were gonna die really slowly, you just want water there.
Yes, I want to die a
Okay,
comfortable death. I don't want like
fair.
suffocate with a dry throat for 10 hours as I die on my back. And you agree with me because you're laughing.
I just think you're a funny guy. But yeah, I think the third episode is pretty interesting too because it has like an interesting prologue that kind of explains what happens to the survivors from the What If episode. Spider-Man, Black Panther, Ant-Man's head with the cloak of levitation,
Paul Rudd's
and
head. It's Scott Lang's
yeah,
head specifically because
Scott Lang's head. Yeah,
yeah, Hank Pym is the one that caused it.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
And zombie Thanos has like taken over Wakanda because this is pretty much like, again, they remix a lot of the MCU, so zombie Thanos takes over and is basically trying to invade Wakanda and get all the Infinity Stones, although his mind is dulled because he's a zombie, so it's kind of
yeah,
easier to take him on because he doesn't have his wits about him.
yeah. They work with Black Panther and a few of the survivors who all get. They don't do very well, but Thor and Rocket and Groot arrive.
Just
But
like in Infinity War, they have that arrival to Wakanda and they
yeah,
just get destroyed.
instantly.
Well, like Groot and Rocket are incinerated. Thor gets one-shotted, and like it's pretty anticlimactic.
Uh,
But at the same time, he'll be back.
there's this great scene though where Spider-Man is able to pick up Thor's hammer, axe for a bit.
Oh yeah, Stormbreaker, and he
Yeah,
like throws Stormbreaker at Thanos. It's a cool fight.
yeah, but it shows his worthy. This Spider-Man is worthy.
Well, Stormbreaker doesn't have the worthiness enchantment.
I know. I just assumed it does. I just assumed it carried over.
No, pretty much anyone can lift it.
Oh damn.
But I think it's pretty interesting that, especially after the still tragic passing of Chadwick Boseman, obviously they couldn't get him to voice Black Panther, and they just chose. This was actually a pretty newsworthy piece of information that Black Panther was not going to have any speaking lines in this show because of Chadwick Boseman's passing. And they have Spider-Man narrating a lot of this scene, but I think it's really interesting that they clearly pay tribute to Chadwick Boseman in this and pay tribute to the character of Black Panther by having him sacrifice himself to save the world and the universe from zombie Thanos and like tackles him into the vibranium mound with all the Infinity Stones. So it was a good way to like get around the fact that like you don't have anyone for Black Panther anymore, but also to be like, hey, we didn't just kill him off, like we gave him like a hero's death. No, not to say that killing him off screen in Wakanda Forever was the bad choice. That was not it at all. Some people might think I'm throwing shade, but that was sorry. I did not mean to throw shade at Wakanda
How
Forever for
I
that.
did not see Wakanda for. How does he die? If I may ask?
Well, he's very sick and he dies from ambiguous like illness, but I think
Oh
that movie in itself is so good and so well done and such a touching tribute to Chadwick Boseman. I think it's so well made and I think the way they handle it is very tastefully done.
yeah,
So, I love that movie. So, I would
yeah.
never throw shade on that.
But there's an explosion which mixes with the vibranium underneath the main Wakandan city. Which yeah,
Yeah,
but
that's going to create a lot of problems, and Spider-Man and Scott Lang almost die, but they are actually teleported to Kamartaj,
by the
where they spend their
sorcerers.
time. Yeah, and that's all we really see of them for this episode, and that's just my way of saying we do not get enough Spider-Man in this show. I was promised more Spider-Man than we ended up getting. It's just like the first 5 minutes of episode 3, and then like episode 4, and that's pretty much it. And I'm like, okay, well, come on. Like, they made this specifically into a series so that they could use Spider-Man, and he barely pops up. Like you look up like a YouTube compilation and all his scenes is like 4 minutes long altogether out of like this 4 episode show. But that's just me being a bitter, salty Spider-Man fan.
The survivors of the boat have made it onto the beach, and they made it to New Asgard, which is a massive fortress, massive castle, and Valkyrie doesn't let them in because only gods are allowed in, which is
Yeah.
ridiculous because these are humans trying to go to a human part of Earth.
Here
And
comes the xenophobia again.
I think it's wrong for aliens to come to Earth.
Josh is like, get these foreigners out of here.
No, they're not foreigners. They're aliens. Like we invited them in.
They're still foreign to the planet.
Yeah, we don't like invasive species. And humans belong here, and they set up a wall saying, "You humans cannot come into your own planet." But anyway, Khonshu lets them in.
Asgardians are also like refugees too, because their entire like Asgard was destroyed in Ragnarok, and also like Thanos like wiped out half their population that was left after that. So
that specifically gives them no right to create walls because they should not be hypocritical about it.
Like you can't just give them this little chunk of Earth.
You can. They just can't put a wall over it.
Yeah, they just have to let anyone in that they want.
It's a human planet. Earth is for humans and tigers and dogs.
Damn, I'm gonna get a bumper sticker for that. Earth is for humans and tigers and dogs.
Yes. And Valkyrie specifically goes, "No gods are only gods only," which is like the theme from Thor, Love and Thunder. But luckily, Khonshu's there and goes like, "Oh, these are my servants. You gotta let them in."
Yeah, he's like, they're cool. It's like, oh, Khonshu. It's really fun seeing Valkyrie interact with Khonshu. Is a fun thing of being like, oh, hey, I know this guy. He's like one of the many gods that I've met in my time.
That's the thing I never understood about the gods of Marvel, where it goes like, so the Asgardians are like, they're such not gods. They're like aliens, but like they're recognized as gods by like Zeus and Khonshu. And they see, and she could see Khonshu, and other than Moon Knight / Blade, no one else could see Khonshu, who has a silly voice in this one. He doesn't get the mysterious voice like he does in the show, but
in the Moon Knight series,
but they're allowed in, and we just see the Asgardians are just living it up.
Yeah, the Asgardians are pretty dumb, I gotta say, in this show, because not only are they just like partying it up, like this is basically their Valhalla. They're like, we had our battles. We're done. We're just like gonna chill out. We're gonna eat and drink and be merry. And then they are also visited by the Queen of Sokovia, quote unquote, which is it's just Wanda. It's the Scarlet Witch, who we know from What If is like the head. She's like queen of the zombies. And she's like, she shows up in human form and she's like, I'm healed. I'm cured. It's fine. I used my power to cure myself.
Yeah, and I'm like, Wanda makes a good point. Kamala should just, and she goes like, I want to hang out with Kamala.
Yeah, because she's like, oh, I need Kamala so I can save the planet and like stop the zombies.
Look, it can't get worse, but then there's a scene where they go like, where'd you guys get all this food? Especially because they're like, the big thing is Asgardians are not helping humanity, and they go, she gave it to us, and they're and it's a trick.
Idiots. Yeah, all the Asgardians get like turned into zombies and poisoned by the Scarlet Witch.
And I think this is when more of the heroes die. Zemo gets like punched and killed, but like a fist just goes through his body.
Yeah, and Death Dealer and Jimmy Woo die, and Red Guardian gets turned into a zombie because he was eating and drinking and being merry.
Yeah.
And Thor in this version is very much like not the same, but the same vibes as Thor in Endgame, where he's kind of just he's even worse than Thor in Endgame, honestly, because he's so depressed and despondent that he's like nonverbal. He's just hanging out. It doesn't even look like he's alive at first because, of everything that he like failed to avenge his people and his brother. And, it's again, basically remixed, reheated MCU from like Endgame onwards. And luckily, though, he does manage to get a second wind after this massive battle with the Scarlet Witch. Thor shows up, and it's a really cool heroes moment. I was cheering at this when Thor shows up. He makes his grand entrance and like takes on the Scarlet Witch, and he's like shooting lightning and thunder's crackling, and it's awesome. But of course, then he has to sacrifice himself so everyone can leave.
On the ship that got them to Earth, and Kamala has a good scene where she tells Thor like, "You're the last Avenger. You gotta come with us." And he goes like, "No, you are." And then
which is a cool moment. Yeah, it's nice to see him like pass the torch as one of the old guard.
It's partially Thor's fault this all happened because in a What If episode, it's revealed that if Hela lived, she could control or tame the zombies.
Yeah, that's true.
So, it is partially Thor's fault.
Honestly, a lot of people are to blame for this.
Yeah. You killed the one person that could have saved us, Thor. You killed
Yeah,
Kate
thanks a
Blanchett.
lot, man.
Yeah, Kate Blanchett could have saved us all.
She could save me anytime. Anyways,
Whoa.
I'm joking. I have a girlfriend.
Uh-huh. But Kamala and they're on the ship, which is advanced enough for them to plug in the Nova Core frequency, which also the Asgardians are aliens. They have access to galactic technology. But the Nova Core respond immediately, and Valkyrie goes, "Yeah, that's not like it should take them weeks to get the signal."
Yeah, but they are already there because it turns out the Nova Corps have already quarantined the Earth, which honestly smart move so that the
Yeah,
zombies don't escape the planet.
it's a shithole planet full of aliens, zombies, and fish people. I don't blame them.
All right, you're sounding a little too much like certain presidents right now. I'm
Uh,
not liking this, Josh. This is not a good look for you.
um, then it goes on to the next episode where Nova Corps goes, "Hey, ship, go back to your disgusting planet, or we're gonna kill you."
Yeah.
Yeah.
But luckily, yeah, the sorcerers from Kamar-Taj help all the survivors like Shang-Chi and Kamala escape and make it to Kamar-Taj.
Or they meet the Cal guy and the British guy and the Hong Kong lady.
Yeah, there's a Minotaur, and like Valkyrie says, always follow the Minotaur.
He's a blue
And
cow. That's
he's
just
green.
oh, tomato potato. He's a cow person.
And this is where we get a really cool reveal that apparently like the stones when they like interacted, the Infinity Stones when Thanos was like thrown into the vibranium mound, the stones released so much raw energy that they only had one way they could store all this energy was they put it in the Hulk.
Yeah.
And honestly, like Infinity Hulk is a crazy idea and could only be done in like a what if like this because that's insane. I
He
actually kind of love it. I'm not sure whether it's really dumb or really cool or maybe just both. I don't know.
he also looks like Ultimate Hulk rather than
Yeah,
regular
he
Hulk.
does.
So another tie-in.
That's like OP as fuck, man. Like that's crazy. Infinity Hulk. Forget power scaling. This is off the charts.
And they reveal the reason Wanda's going around trying to just collect superpower zombies and zombies in general is so she could take on Infinity Hulk to save the
Yeah.
world.
And so this is what the final battle leads up to. They meet up because like Spider-Man and Scott Lang are there too. They all get together and they're like, let's have a final battle with Wanda and her army to stop them from trying to like take the power from the Hulk and like rewrite the world in their image or whatever.
I also love how Miss Marvel just is a fangirl for Spider-Man because she goes, "Spider-Man saved us. I knew you were alive." And he goes, "Oh no, the wizard people and the cow person saved."
Still, I would also fanboy over Spider-Man. I'd be
Yeah,
like, oh my god.
you would.
Yeah, like you wouldn't.
I would too, but
Uh-huh.
uh-huh. I'll be honest. I'd be fanboying for like a second, and then I'll be like, "Oh shoot, wizards are real." I just that's not a twist I expected.
Yeah. Yeah, there would be so much going on. I would be
Yeah.
overstimulated.
Yeah. Also, there's a zombie apocalypse. And like this, they've been having moments where Shang-Chi is like, it's an interesting. He's like this older brother figure to Miss Marvel, and saying like, "We're following you because we believe in your mission. We're gonna save the world." And now and now he says, "Okay, that didn't work out, but you gave us hope. So let's try this again. You're the last Avenger. Thor said so. We got to
Yeah,
do
it's
this."
really cool seeing all these characters from later phases of the MCU like develop relationships with each other and like have these new fresh dynamics that we haven't seen before. Like
Yeah.
Shang-Chi being like an older brother figure to Kamala, and then like Kamala's relationship with Alexei, the Red Guardian, too, and how
Yeah.
sad and tragic it was when he became a zombie and she was tearfully saying goodbye and apologizing.
Even her friendship with Kate Bishop and Ironheart.
Yeah,
With
exactly.
the one, and also Yelena's like attraction to Shang-Chi was, I don't know,
Yeah.
just unexpected.
I'm like, let's see this on the big screen now.
Yeah.
Live action, baby. When? When?
But like, I know that this is where you and I were arguing. I don't have a reason to go like Wanda shouldn't have access to this power. The big thing is like we can't let Wanda get to the hole because she now has enough zombies and power to just take the power herself. And also, she wants Kamala because it's like Kamala is the last step. But I don't have an argument about like, yeah, like we need to stop her. I don't know why. The planet's destroyed. Basically, there's like if the zombies go away, there's no hope for humanity. Actually, even the aliens got wiped out. I forgot. The fish people are gone too. What's the worst that could happen if Wanda gets the gets?
She's a zombie queen who's hungry for power. Nothing good can come of this.
She's a zombie queen who wants to save the world. Okay, so we see Wanda talk to Kamala a few times, and she goes like, "Look, I just want the power to put the Hulk out of his misery because he's miserable right now, and to save the world, to bring it back to like the good old days when humans were like not all dead."
The good old days when we were all alive. But I
Yes.
mean, the thing is too, I find this is where I'm like, I really have to suspend my disbelief even harder than I ever have before. Because putting all this shit aside, I'm like, let's just accept the fact that there's an Infinity Stone powered Hulk with all the Infinity Stone powers. You're telling me that there's anything that can stop this guy? Like anything that can stop Hulk with all 6 Infinity Stones flowing through his veins? This is
Well,
bullshit. What do you
yes,
mean?
because he's
Nothing could
mindless.
stop that.
He has mindless more than usual, so he can't use his intelligence. Actually, he has the Mind Stone. That should be intelligence enough, actually.
Yeah, he's got it all. He has all 6 Infinity Stones in his system, and he's the Hulk.
Well, Doctor Strange in the comics I know has beaten people with all 6 Infinity Stones.
Yeah.
So Wanda is like a wizard.
All right. Well, I'll just put that aside for now. But it's still crazy.
Yeah. But honestly, if I was Miss Marvel, I'd side with Wanda. I go, this planet's doomed. What's the worst that could happen if I give Wanda this power?
It seems like she kind of does because it's like a bit of an ambiguous ending, which I found confusing and frankly a little bit rushed. Where like there's this big fight with Wanda and her army against like Kamala and like all these other guys like Spider-Man and Shang-Chi and everyone. And then
They all die.
like, yeah, a lot of people die, and then all of a sudden, like, Kamala wakes up back in like pre-zombie times in
In New
Jersey,
Jersey. Yeah.
and it seems like she and Wanda did fix everything, question mark. But she wakes up and she's greeted at the door by Riri and by Kate Bishop, like Ironheart and Hawkeye, and they go and they like drink boba and they just have a good time.
And they horn dog over random guys on the street.
You know, just girl things.
Yeah, it's very Sex in
Just
the City, but
yeah,
modern.
but for like teenagers, yeah.
Well, they're not teenagers because Kate Bishop, because okay, maybe Kamala Khan is if the even if the actress isn't, but Kate Bishop is like a senior in college.
Yeah, Kate and Riri are not. Yeah, never mind. They're young
Yeah,
adults.
they're young
But like,
adults.
yeah, they're young adults hanging out. But then, of course, we get a flash of Riri Williams, Ironheart, in the zombie universe, going like, "It's all don't believe it. Like this is all fake. Kamala," something along those lines. Pretty much just being like, "Don't fall for it." And at the end, there's like a jump scare of zombie Wanda. So you can. I have a feeling that this is just WandaVision, but in a different font. It's like WandaVision. Like let's place an illusion of reality over what's actually happening, which is this zombie apocalypse world.
Well, I'll say this. I think WandaVision is not an illusion. It was her manipulating reality within a very small area and her not being good at it because she locks up the kids accidentally. In this case, we just gave her all 6 Infinity Stones plus her magic plus whatever she wanted from Kamala Khan. It's her rewriting reality itself, which is presented as this bad thing. But I'm not sure it is a bad thing if Elizabeth Olsen rewrote reality, especially because like Elizabeth Olsen in this one is very convincing as like this character just trying to convince like Kamala as a witch, going like, I just want to save this world. Like, don't you want the world back? I'll give you back your friends.
I don't know. That sounds like supervillain talk straight up right there. That's
No,
like the
like
devil on your shoulder
she
trying to
has
tempt
this
you.
she has this very seductive voice of like, I just want to do what's right for the world. Hulk
What
doesn't
do
want the
you just
infinite.
have the hots for Elizabeth Olsen? I feel
No,
like that's
no,
what this is boiling down to,
no,
Josh.
no, no, no.
You're like, I feel like if Elizabeth Olsen really like altered the world, things would be better. If
It's a
Elizabeth Olsen had the power, she would save the world and I would let her and I would thank her for it. And I'd let her and I'd say stomp on me, mommy. And I'd let her slap me and like, all these different things would come up, all these
well,
feelings, but I'm not a horn dog or anything.
well, the internet, her nickname on the internet is Mommy, because remember when that was the thing when she and Pedro Pascal were like the internet's mom and dad? for a bit.
Yes, I think that's still a thing.
Okay, well, I'm okay with that still being a thing.
Of course you are.
But no, but like Earth is a shithole. Like I was gonna say, like one of the problems, like aliens are now just controlling chunks, but the aliens got killed too. Like it's a zombie. It's like quarantine from the rest of the galaxy. Like what? You can't make it worse, really. You can't make it worse. Wanda
Things can
could.
always get worse.
It's pretty bad. Humanity just doesn't have a chance. Wanda's going like, look, I have all this power and I am gonna make it better. You might as well trust me. I'm like, look, if you are lying, Earth is already doomed and I'm gonna be either killed or turned to a zombie soon. So, like, I won't care. But if it works, it works. So, like, why not just give her the power to recreate Earth, you know?
Well, I guess we'll find out the why not because there is going to be a season 2. So I'm
Yeah.
interested to see where the story goes. Also, more importantly, if there will be more episodes in a season, because I think 4 episodes is crazy.
I looked it up
That's very short.
by accident, and we were discussing this. It was apparently originally planned for longer episodes, but as Disney is doing now, same with a lot of Star Wars stuff and Marvel as a whole, Disney cut it to 4 episodes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's also weird if they're getting a second season. It's Disney classifies this as a mini series, and I'm like, it's not a mini series if you get a season 2. Now it's a series.
Now it's just a series, yeah.
It's just a series of very short episodes.
Yeah, with like very short seasons too.
Yeah.
It's like 30-minute episodes for like 4 episodes a season. I'm like, that's nothing.
Well, to be fair, Peacemaker's like 20 to 30-minute episodes.
It's got 8 episodes though.
This was originally planned for 6 episodes.
That would have made more sense.
Yeah.
That would have actually given us more. They wouldn't have felt so rushed at the end.
I feel this is like Alf, where like you feel if they had more episodes, they would have given it a less ambiguous ending. But because it's ambiguous, because it's short, you could make the argument that Elizabeth Olsen saved the world.
Of course, you just brought this back to... You're not even calling her Wanda anymore, you know that? You're not even calling her the Scarlet Witch, you're calling her straight up Elizabeth Olsen. That's how much you want her to save the world.
Oh, she like
disgusting pervert.
They do that voice. She has that special voice in this show.
That special voice? What special voice?
Like she's like in a way she's trying to get you to join her side. Like, I'm here to save the world. It's like it's this weird, sinister, witchy voice.
I'm afraid to ask more questions based off of what you seem to be into.
I don't know if this is true or not, but apparently in Comic-Con, she did an interview. It's like, I don't even remember recording this. She was like, apparently a lot of this was like done years ago. I'm not surprised because Disney seems to have done a lot of weird stuff with What If. Like they made an episode What If they didn't release until years later. So I wouldn't be surprised if because I think Disney actors rely for the MCU because they're told to. If she recorded this in like during the COVID pandemic, she was like, I just assumed it was never made.
Yeah, I can see that. A lot of the times that when actors record things, especially like big name actors for animated projects, it's done well in advance. They do it in all of the lines at once in isolation. They take their paycheck, they leave, and then years later it comes out and they're like, oh yeah, I did that. I totally forgot.
Because it's like, if you're an actor, this is now one of the few things you could do that's work from home.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
You really don't have to think about it that much.
The one that really drives me crazy is like there's crazy chemistry between certain characters in animation, including in What If with Kate, Miss Marvel, and Ironheart. But like, there's a good chance they've never met as actors.
Yeah,
and there's so many shows where they go like, oh my gosh, how'd you develop the chemistry with this actor? It's like, oh, we've never met. We just recorded separately.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what?
We recorded separately and the animation did the rest for us.
And the editors.
Yeah, and the editors, for sure.
Yeah.
But it'll be interesting to see, because I've heard a lot of talk about and rumors about a Young Avengers project, and people asking Haley Steinfeld about a Young Avengers, and her saying she'd love to do it, and the little teaser we got at the end of the Marvels with Kamala Khan and Kate Bishop meeting for the first time, so here's hoping.
You know, they're also not that young anymore. Like, Haley Steinfeld's like 31 now, so... Not like that, not that it's wrong. Not that it's wrong. We're that age now.
They better hurry up, or it's going to be the not-so-young Avengers.
I know for the Percy Jackson movies, the original ones, none of them were good. But one of the reasons they never like finished them was because they it took too long between production and all the actors aged out.
Yeah, so like they just were not on it. But yeah, any other final thoughts, Josh, on the series?
No, but This is our most horn doggy episode, based on what you said.
Yeah, from you.
No.
Want Elizabeth Olsen to save the world?
You want Kate Blanchett to save you.
I was a joke.
Uh-huh.
I have a girlfriend. It's fine. But yes, Josh, where can our listeners contact us if they want to email us about thoughts on the podcast or us or comics or anything?
We always appreciate fan mail. It is ultimatecomicspodcast@gmail.com. That's comics plural, podcast singular, ultimatecomicspodcast@gmail.com.
That is right. You can also get in touch with us on any of our socials. We are at Ultimate Comics Podcast on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube. We have plenty of fun reels and TikToks and pictures from the comics that we read on Instagram as well. And we have full episodes with video on YouTube. So feel free to check those out. But yeah, next time we'll be back to our regularly scheduled programming with Ultimate Comics. So stay tuned for our next episode. But until then, everyone, take care and make mine Ultimate Marvel. Bye bye.